Hello my friends, this is B1 from Dead Z Gaming, and today we are doing a review of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, it used to be a series of comics that actually became so popular that they actually made a film by Universal Studios. Obviously, as a lot of movies do, they actually spawn off game versions. So they made Scott Pilgrim into a game. This actually works really well, as the comics and the movie were actually based, it does have a lot of game references, and the premise is Scott Pilgrim falls in love with a woman called Ramona Flowers, and basically to be able to date her, he needs to defeat her 7 evil exes. So obviously that's 7 bosses. It kind of sets up the game for itself. As you can see, it's got a bit of an 8-bit style to it. It looks a bit silly, it looks a bit daft, but it's good. That's what I like about in my games, hence the games such as Minecraft, Terraria and other various sprite games based out there. The music itself also is very old school. The game is set up like a side-scroll beat-em-up, as you'll see in a bit. The game actually, there's actually a story mode where you walk around, fight enemies. The 3 difficulties: Average Joe, Rough and Tough and Supreme Master. Let's just click on Average Joe. So then obviously you can play with 4 friends. I advise playing with 4 friends because it unlocks more, it is really a party game more than anything. This isn't saying that you can't play it on your own, but like games like Streets of Rage and stuff, you actually build a lot of the fun times with friends. So obviously you can play as Scott, Kim, Stills, Ramona, and part of a DLC package for the Xbox and the PlayStation, and I think on the PC as well, you can actually download Knives Chow as well. All these characters are in the movie, all these characters have their own special abilities, and learn different attacks as you level up. So let's pick Scott, and obviously as a customization you can actually change the colour of his clothing, which is all good fun. I'm going to stick to original Scott, have a green t-shirt, and then click OK. So obviously when the game starts, you're put on this map screen. This map screen is very reminiscent of the old Super Mario games, which is fine by me. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Advance Wars. As you can see right on this game, there's certain references to Super Mario, and it's fantastic. Like, the pipes are big green pipes. There's a house down at the bottom by where it says Frozen Suburbs that looks like a green mushroom. It's just all good fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on a level, and I'm going to show you guys what the gameplay is like. The music is absolutely brilliant. I think it's really nice to hear something that sounds like it was from my childhood, back when I used to play games like this. As you can see, the game is graphically done really well in a 8-bit graphic style, which is a good laugh. And it's nice to see like people embracing this style still. So as you hit enemies, you get the damage bubbles. Obviously I've just leveled up. I've got a new move. So let's try this out. There we go. Shoulder barge, which is pretty cool. As you defeat enemies, you pick up coins, and through the levels you actually can go into shops and spend the coins. This game is actually set in Canada, in Toronto. It's funny because the actual money has mooses on it. I don't know why I find that funny. It just makes me smile. So as you go through the levels, as you can see, I just got my ass kicked. But then there's certain events like this, like where you just button bash, and it gives you moments to be absolutely epic. It's fantastic. You can actually pick up weapons as the levels progress. You can throw them, hit enemies with them, and just basically do a little bit of damage. So let's get these enemies on the screen. And they can range from anything to, as you can see, baseballs, to garbage cans, to recycling bins, to glass bottles. It's quite a big game. And then this part of the level seems very basic, but as you progress through the levels, you actually fight other enemies. Like I think it's in the next level, you actually fight gentlemen dressed as dinosaurs, and they breathe fire at you. So it just adds like an extra little bit of an extra variation for types of enemies. The only issue I would say with this game is it's been out for quite some time, as well as the Scott Pilgrim movie, but if you've never watched it and you're a big gaming fan, I advise to go in and seeing it and purchasing this game. if you like games like Streets of Rage and don't mind them, you know, but don't mind them being a little bit daft, this is certainly a game for you. Now here's a bigger guy. He's I'm not entirely sure what the enemies' names are in this. I like to call him a thug because he kind of reminds me of the big guys from Dead Island in a way. Can take a bit more damage, and you know, he's a bit bigger than the rest. Still knock him down. So as the game goes on, if you press a certain different buttons, you get different special attacks like that. You know, I press that button, Knives Chow comes down, says love. Now, if you've never watched the movie or ever read the comics, that won't mean anything to you, but it's actually quite a funny part in that. Scott Pilgrim also has his own special attacks as well. So obviously you can pick enemies up as well, and you can throw enemies and all sorts. So here's a fat guy, a chunky guy, that if you punch, your punches just bounce off his stomach, which is a good fun. Reminds me of the guys who breathe fire in what's it called? Streets of Rage and Final Fight. Just wait for him to get back up. But as the game carries on, as you can see in the top corner, I have 3 lives left. I'm actually level 6. It tells you your health, your special ability, which is the fire thing. It tells you your amount of money you have, the moose coins you have. It tells you your experience and how much more experience you need to get to the next level. So obviously, you know, the game itself, even though it's a side-scroller beat 'em up, it does have a lot of RPG elements to it as well. Let's use this bucket to a great advantage. Obviously, I've just run out of health. So when you run out of health, your character will get back up and you have to button bash. This does not actually give you full health back, but it actually gives you, as you see, it's giving me 44% health back, which is good. You know, it allows me to carry on fighting, but I can't get knocked out consecutively too many times, such as then. So obviously each of the characters have got their own special ability. Scott can do this whirlwind kick, which is pretty effective. It's but as you use those abilities, if you noticed in the top hand corner when I did it, your life actually goes down. So it's a very risk reward. You do a very special, you know, you do a special attack, but it, you know, you're essentially damaging your character at the time. Anyway guys, I advise, if you've never watched the movie and you're into old school games, and even if you're into modern games, you know, I'd advise to go and check it out. It's quite geeky, it's got a lot of geeky references in it, but the film itself is brilliant. And if you enjoy the movie, I advise, you know, picking up the game for, you know, for a little bit of cash, and, you know, just inviting your mates round, you know, and playing this and having a good time. So without further ado, this is B1 from Dead Z Gaming signing off. Remember to like and subscribe, guys. And if you have any games you want me to review in the future, then just, you know, put a request in the comments or send me a message, and I will try and purchase the game to, you know, to do reviews or playthroughs. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. This is B1 signing off.